You're watching Global Reports on Liberty Television. I am Arthur Brooks. As usual, you can watch us across Nigeria on Star Times, Channel 180, on GoTV, on Free TV and Multi TV, and on the Strong Decoder across Nigeria and across West Africa. And streaming live on YouTube at Liberty TV Kaduna, and I'm just told also on Facebook. Today we look at some of the news reports that are featured in the world's media from the last 7 days. And today I'm joined in the studio by my guests Ferdinand Okonkwo.
Thank you for having me.
Sani Garba.
Yeah,
welcome to the studio. This week, the US Embassy planned to sign off. In fact, Donald Trump, the President of the United States, promised to sign off on moving the US Embassy from Tel Aviv in Israel to Jerusalem in Israel. And this is a very hot potato. There was a clamour all around the Middle East this week, and the King of Jordan, Hussein, pleaded with Trump not to make that decision because it would signify that US recognises that the capital of Israel is Jerusalem, which is not accepted. Please watch this news report from BBC.
U.S. diplomatic posts are on high alert in the Middle East as President Donald Trump considers recognizing Jerusalem as a capital of Israel. A final decision hasn't been made yet, but under U.S. law, the president has until December 4th to issue a waiver informing Congress that he will keep the embassy in Tel Aviv. Mr. Trump vowed to move the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem during the campaign. The territory has been at the center of decades of fighting between Israelis and Palestinians. Renan Bergman is a contributing writer for the New York Times Magazine and author of the book Rise and Kill First, The Secret History of Israel's Targeted Assassinations. He joins me now on set. Renan, as you know, for many years, various White House administrations has held the issue of declaring Jerusalem as a capital as something they were going to wait to the last minute to decide at the end. What do you make of this?
There are two separate issues here. One is the U.S. recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. I think it's not that important. Even Russia, back in May, recognized that the Hebrew or the Israeli side, the New Jerusalem, not the eastern side, is the capital of Israel. And Russia is not considered the most pro-Israeli state country in the world. So this is not extremely important. The situation, the place where the embassy is located is extremely important. And if the president will follow his, as you said, his election, one of his main slogans in the election vis-a-vis the Jewish community in the United States and Israel, and will relocate the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, that is a dramatic and very important decision. My take, he will never do that, because at the end of the day, he faces, I would say, severe anticipation from the American intelligence community that would lead to a new break of violence in the area, to severe condemnations from other Arab countries, to many, many negative developments. So I think he will not do that. If so, it's a new game.
Wow. I want to ask you, why do you think he's considering doing this now?
I think he is considering this because there is a pressure from ultra right-wing circles, either Jewish or Israelis, to fulfill what he, very, very clearly stated during the elections that he's going to do the day after he's elected. And now we are almost a year after he's inaugurated, and it hasn't yet happened. I think that the president, you are a better expert with American politics, but I think the president of the United States is trying to show that at least some of the promise that he made during the election campaign are fulfilling. From his point of view, just signing that waiver, or not signing that waiver, and ordering the embassy to be relocated and returning to Jerusalem is very easy from a technical point of view. They are already looking for some installations, some building in Jerusalem to buy. But again, I think that the outcome, or the likelihood outcome, could be horrendous.
Big day today in Washington for Michael Flynn, pleading guilty to lying to the FBI. One of those accounts was, in fact, lying about meeting with the Russian ambassador at the time. This was then under the Obama administration on a UN vote dealing with Israeli settlements. It was the understanding that the Obama administration was actually going to vote condemning this activity, settlement activity. What do you make of it, and what are people in Israel saying about this?
I think that the general perception, it's not mine, but the general perception in Israel was that the Obama...
BBC, it was CBSN. Apparently, there was a deadline for the president to sign off on this, on a signature for this move, and that deadline passed at midnight last night. So it looks like Trump has been advised to back off on this issue. Ferdinand, what do you think? How do you read this?
Remember the campaign tsunami called Trump? Yes, we are seeing the result of that tsunami. The wave has settled. It's now time to face the real business. The man is facing the real business. He was shouting everywhere, making all manner of pronouncements, unguarded statements during the campaign era. This is time for governance. The real business has faced him. I know it is one thing Trump will not try. Whose interest will you serve? What will you achieve by moving the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem? What will you achieve from moving the capital of U.S. from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem? You know the crisis that will erupt. You know the crisis it will generate. Thank God, people with sound mind have started advising him. Macron just told him recently that he is concerned about that decision. There's a Saudi ambassador to U.S. raised serious concern of catastrophe that will follow it if it is tried. And no reason will prevail. Americans are not fools. Even if the leader has some mental problem, the Americans will know they are not fools. They will not dare it.
But interesting enough, I discovered only today that there was a law in 1995 which was agreed by the U.S. lawmakers that the embassy should be removed, but it was given a rider that it should be reviewed on a 6-monthly basis.
Yes.
And up to now, every president has not delivered, as it were. He's backed off it. Sani, we'd like to hear your take on this.
No, actually, having Trump as an American president is a problem to the whole world. Why I say this is a man, look at what he's trying to do now by moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. I don't think somebody that is reasonable and responsible would...
Maybe we should explain to the viewers, by doing that it would legitimize the view that the capital of Israel is Jerusalem, not Tel Aviv, because Jerusalem is hotly contested by 3 of the world's biggest religions.
Actually,
Judaism, Islam and Christianity.
Of course, Jerusalem is very important to Islam, very important to Christianity. You remember the Akusa Mosque and the issue of the Temple of Solomon sharing this same border. Who will lose one for the other? It's very, very critical place. America is championing peace for Middle East. Is this how you are going to achieve the peace? By taking side? I have said it here before. If there will be peace in Middle East, I'm not sure America should be the one that will champion and achieve that peace.
No, I don't.
Because America don't have the trust. For you to be a mediator, you need the trust of both sides.
And an understanding.
They don't have the trust of both sides.
I don't think they have the understanding either.
They don't have the understanding. You can't impose peace. You negotiate peace. What will he achieve by what he wanted to do? You are standing as a mediator. At the same time, you are saying, this is what I must do. And one of the people you are mediating for said, go ahead and do it. That is what we want. And it has been a crisis issue, very delicate issue, very, very touching issue to the soul of the peace you are pursuing. Why I then bring it? Trump made this promise not once, not twice, not not twice, severally during his campaign. And of course, if I am an American Jew, I will take him up on that. Fulfill your promise. Why wouldn't he fulfill his promise? But I know it will be one of the failures of Trump.
Gentlemen, can we move on? This week, Nigerian migrants were returned to Nigeria amid a lot of controversy in Libya, where a number of people, including Nigerians, West Africans, have been sold into slavery by some of the militias who are controlling that country. Let's just watch this news report from China television.
Taxiing to its final stop at the cargo tarmac of the international airport in Lagos. Inside this Libyan-marked aircraft are the latest Nigerian returnees from Libya, 150 of them. Soon after the aircraft door is flung open, the migrants begin to disembark. Among them are women and children, but the majority are young men. They had all been in different detention camps in Libya. Most of them were picked up at sea while trying to cross the Mediterranean to Europe. They immediately go through immigration processes and then handed food. They all look distraught and clearly hungry. Virtually all of them, this would be their first real meal in months. Done with eating, some begin to narrate the hell that they have been through in Libya.
We went through here there. Even there are some people there now which are supposed to have been deported. Some of them have spent a year plus in Guinea. Some of them have spent 8 months in different places where they lock them. Some of them have spent 4 months, 6 months, 8 months. Some of them have done their TC. Some of them have not done their TC. They are still there. Some, every self have every dying. Some of them are getting mad, mental problem like this lady here.
I went to 5 prisons. I was transferred from prison to prison. In fact, let me just cut it short. They caught me on top of the sea. I was about crossing to Italy, so they caught me on top of the sea. They arrested us. Our feeding was once in a day. In fact, till now, since they caught me August, since then till now, I was eating once in a day, and till now I'm drinking salt water. If I open my body for you now, if I open inside oil, I believe you guys will run.
Look at my hand. This is what they did to me. These people came to my house. I rented the house. I paid for the house. They came there and told me that they have a work. I'm a gas engineer. I was doing a work. They came and told me they have a work for me. And I went to do the work. They took me to a warehouse and locked the place up. We have over 150 Nigerians inside the place. And in my presence, 3 Nigerians were shot dead and thrown into a river in a place called Suleiman. The name of the man is Ali. And he works with a man called Osama of Zaria. These people, Osama of Zaria, work with the EU, European Union. They go to on top of the sea and they pick Nigerians and they lock them in prison. And they force them to control their country and pay them 2,500 dinars. That is about 250,000 naira. You pay that money, they will release you back into the soil. You continue working.
It's heart-wrenching to know that there are quite a number of Nigerians who are still left behind. Of course, the government has said it's going to make sure all of them return back home. But for how long this whole process is going to take, we do not know. In all, 5,578 Nigerian migrants have been flown back home from Libya this year alone. And it's all courtesy of the European Union, which has been providing the funding, and the International Organization for Migration, IOM, which has been facilitating the process. While those left behind wait their turn, these ones will relish their newfound freedom. At least for now, the road to full recovery will sure be a tough one for all of them. Dejibatmo, CGTN, Lagos, Nigeria.
Well, that's a piece of global news that is bringing us right back here to Nigeria. This is a very disturbing situation. Sani, what do you say about this?
All I can say, the evil that men did, live after them. It is true. For removing this or eliminating the late Gaddafi, that is what caused all these things. Because during his time, we didn't experience such.
But was he a good leader?
Yes, of course. Gaddafi is a good leader. During his time, we didn't have any cry from his own people that is maltreating them or they don't have this, they lack this, they lack that, as we are now
They had no
Nigerians
freedom.
crying. They have their
He
freedom.
was a dictator.
So the white people say. Yes, they attack him as a dictator.
But the Libyan people seemed to be very happy when he was deposed at that time.
No, it is just American or European tricks.
Okay.
Let me be frank with you.
Okay.
Yes, because they like their leader and they enjoy being. For how long has he been the leader of that country?
For about 30 plus years, yeah.
42 years.
42, is it?
Yes.
Okay, 42.
So if he's not a good leader, we could
16.
have seen people going against his rule, and there will be a lot of problem in that country. But just
Okay, well, take Zimbabwe.
Accidentally.
30 plus years, Mugabe was leader and the country was in ruin.
no, even Zimbabwe, it is when the man start to be losing focus that they start to be encountering problem.
Okay.
Yes.
Ferdinand, let's hear your side of the story.
Yes, I think, yes, just like Sani said, we are receiving the results of bad diplomacy. We may not stand to say that Gaddafi was a good leader. We may not stand to say. But what we have today, is it better than what Gaddafi was given?
Yeah, but you make the point what we had. The rest of the world didn't suffer from Gaddafi, but maybe his own people suffered.
They may not support him, but he was able to manage that territory, held that territory for the entire world. Now, when we removed him from the territory, see the result we had. That is a very dangerous and bad diplomacy.
Well, this was
the
same,
people
yeah.
who removed him. Yes, it was popular as at that time. Now, what was the arrangement after Gaddafi?
That's the problem.
No arrangement at all. So instead of removing what was working as at that time to replace it with nothing, then where are we today?
Ferdinand, the same story was in Iraq.
It's the same thing in Iraq.
You can even say
it's the same thing in
Afghanistan.
Egypt. It's the same thing in
Egypt, yes.
in Yemen.
Yeah.
It's the same thing we are
Yemen,
trying to experience in Syria right
Yeah.
now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The same thing. See, there is a culture in the Arab Spring, the Arab world. There is a culture. I think we should understand the dynamism of any society before we try to bring in this democracy we are talking about. Democracy. Yes. Democracy is according to people's culture, people's mentality, people's development, and people's mindset.
Yeah.
You are trying to take the rules that is working in London, in America, and bring it in a place where there is no organization at all.
Yeah.
You have a man who is looked onto as the all and all, and he's able to hold the dynamics together. Now you remove him, the dynamics are scattered. Where are the people to bring them back together? This is the same thing. If we keep trying it in the Arab world, we'll keep failing.
But it's the so-called developed countries like the United States who are leading this.
Thank you.
And the argument has been that they go in Iraq, for instance, they go in, they remove the leader with no proper plan on the ground to replace him or to know what to do with the country. They then exploit, at that time, I think it was the Bush administration, a lot of people in the Bush administration made a hell of money out of oil and
America paid
minerals.
dearly, losing over 6,000 soldiers. They paid dearly for it.
They're soldiers, they are fodder, they are...
I mean, see,
Soldiers supposed to
who
die in
gained
war.
and who lost?
Yeah.
The point here is very
The
simple.
Iraqi people lost.
And when these so-called developed countries should understand the dynamics of these nations. What are the issues that are in contention? What are the forces that are in contention? What is obtainable in A might not be obtainable in B, and therefore what works for A might not work for B. So when you are going in with this, your penchant for democracy, how democratic is the environment itself before you introduce democratic rule? A situation we have might is power. You need a mighty man to hold all the mights.
Sani, can we come in, please?
Americans always hide under the pretext of democracy to achieve their personal aim. I don't believe it's because of democracy they are entering all these countries. Because the man he just mentioned, give me his name please, of Iraq, Saddam Hussein, was their boy before, doing them what they want, and nobody is hearing anything. But by the time that he just deviate from what they want,
even Gaddafi,
and now they have something and tag on him that is anti-democracy, and they will come remove him wrongfully. And you can see how the country is in now. Because I don't think these two countries will come back as they are.
I
don't think.
It is not possible.
It's not possible.
And one other issue in this,
generation.
Mr. Brooks, one other issue in this is that we should look inwards. This is a failure of system in Nigeria. Today, our youths are rushing over the world looking for greener pastures. Now these issues are returning back to us. And instead of them staying wherever they are returning back to this country. What will be the implication? Moving forward, there will be implosion. That is to say, when all of us are home and there is no space for all of us at the same time. You know, when you push a man to the wall, when he gets to the wall, he has no other place to go than to react. When there will be a reaction from the youth of this nation concerning all these people, politicians, failure of system. This is as a result of failure of system. Nigeria, we are over 50 years. When did Libya had independence? Our people are rushing to Libya. Under Gaddafi, when you finish and come out as a graduate, he will give you $50,000 as a startup, as a married man. In Nigeria, when you graduate and come out to the street, you are looking for a job of 20,000 naira employment. What are we doing? Our men, our leaders are busy hiding money in trenches, hiding money, dollars, no longer naira. They are hiding dollars under pits, building containers where they hide this money. The money you have hidden away from this country is enough to develop this country and attract foreigners to our country. And now we rush into all these countries.
On that point,
this is failure of the system.
Ferdinand, on that point, we have to close. Thank you all very much for coming on the program once again and enlivening the conversation. Our time is up, and for more global reports, join us in the studio, same time, same place next week. Thank you again to my guests. And this is Arthur Brooks and the studio crew signing off for another week. Please keep watching.